Angry guy here, and foreign women warn that they're taking all black men. Foreign women warn that they're taking all black. Guys, before we jump into the video, I want to share a comment that I received on another video that basically explored the same topic. An Afghan woman came to the video and she asked a question. She said, "Do black men love us Afghanistan women?" And AF, so she put the Afghanistan flag, from what I can understand. It just didn't show up. And of course, she got some very interesting responses. She got a response: as long as you don't possess that funky attitude of Western women, yes, we will love you too. Another comment: a woman is a woman. So the answer is yes. Her response to this, of course, was, I love black men, and I'm Afghan Pashtun, as in Afghanistan. I'm foreign, feminine, and friendly, and I'm a sweet and genuine person. And I'm not ghetto and disrespectful to black men. I treat them like a king, which they are. Black men are the best. I love you, black men. I told you what was coming. I'm the first one to tell you that this was going to become a tradition eventually. I said that trends become normalities and normalities become traditions. Right now, the passport kings are a trend, but they are quickly moving towards becoming a normality. And then from there, it will become a tradition. I said that it's going to be an international competition for men from Western society. A country without its men is not a country, it is a wasteland. They want to have their cake and eat it too, and now they will be left with nothing. Women from every other country outside of Western society are competing for these men. They are competing for the talent that these men have. They're competing for the influence that these men have. They're competing for the resources that these men have. They're competing for the ability to protect the way that these men can. Women around the world are more than happy to compete for these men. They watch television, they watch music videos, they see these guys. Okay, so of course they're going to say, well, we want men like this. Now, of course, it's not going to be every woman that wants one of these men, but when you consider the scarcity, it's pretty high. If you think about African American men, there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of African American men. They're on a global scale. There's something like 8 billion people on the planet. And, how many African American men are there? Not a ton. Not a ton in comparison to the number of people on the planet and women on the planet. There's only like just over like 300 million people in the US, like 350 million, somewhere between 330 and 350 million. And Black Americans only make up 14% of the population when averaged. 14%, bro. That's a tiny number. And then black men make up only 7% of that. When you start to really do the math, there's not a lot of brothers out there. It seems that way because, of the Chads, of the Tyrones, the Ray Rays, the Pookies, they're constantly clogging up the criminal court system, and blacks tend to live in cities more often than not. So it makes it seem like there's a lot more of them than there really are. But there really are not a lot of African American, and especially African American men. So they go overseas, they're the talk of the town. Women are more than happy to compete for these men, not just black men, men of all ethnicities. Okay, white guys get a lot of love overseas. Go to Thailand, white guys get a lot of love. Japan, white guys get a lot of love. But the thing is that it doesn't really matter what your ethnicity is. These women are willing to compete for you. They will fight for you. They will throw hands for you. There was a comment from Soraya at the end of one of her videos. Soraya said something quite interesting. Let's just go ahead and jump into it and listen to what she says.
About, okay, but when I come to Germany, when do I start learning German? I have to know how to speak German. No, you don't. The majority of us speak English anyway. We learn this in school, and especially when you go to these locations, gentlemen, where you will meet these women who are into Americans. They all speak English. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. And when these ladies do speak English, this is how it sounds.
Where are you from?
Germany.
What are Germans known for?
I would say discipline, punctuality, and we got the best cars like BMW, Mercedes, and Porsche, of course. And also the best women, of course.
Family, at the end of the day, it's really about how we feel and how we can make our significant other feel. I am not here with my content that I'm creating trying to make anyone feel some type of way about the things that I am saying. If there are any ladies from America watching me, ladies, I don't feel no type of way about you. You know, you don't need to come for me with the attacks, but I understand that you may be in your emotions because you don't like the things that I say. But I will say this though, Germany is just another country on the map where women are just sitting here and waiting for American guys, especially American black guys, to touch down so they can be appreciated. Okay, so whatever you don't like over there with the average guy, we love over here. So just be aware of that. So, you know, your man can get snatched. I mean, it's not like that doesn't happen already, but that's a different story. So this is the video for today. Please give it a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And
My gosh. So did you hear what she just said right there? She said, your man can get snatched. Your man can get snatched. Okay? And that's the problem that women don't comprehend in Western society. They have not had to compete for men for decades. For decades, especially with social media. Women do not compete for men anymore. They do not compete for men. So you have multiple generations of women that don't know how to compete for a man. The only concept of competition is knowing how to put their bodies out there, putting their bodies on social media, walking around scantily clad. They don't comprehend that high value men don't want these kinds of women. Any man that is going for this kind of woman, most of these guys are not trying to make them into wives. They are just trying to have a great time and then leave, and that's just the reality of things. Men have to wake up and realize that the entire world is waiting for them. And a lot of dudes picked up on this. That's why I said this, that, the first passport kings were actually the white guys. It was crazy Uncle Roger that said that he was heading off to this strange place called Indonesia, 60 years ago. And everyone's like, well, Uncle Roger's always been a strange one. Little do you know, Uncle Roger figured it out. Uncle Roger figured it out. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was living it up, living a high quality life, living in a mansion, what you would consider a mansion in Western society. He had women for days, servants, living a high value life like a king. And he was appreciated and celebrated over there. And these men went and they didn't tell anyone they just basically picked up, left under the cover of night, and that was it. And people said that these men were crazy. Oh, he's always been a little bit loony. He knew exactly what he was doing. All right. That's why he always had money in his pocket. When he passed away with wealth. Okay. How the heck did this guy pass away with so much money, living over in some country that people didn't even know how to pronounce the word? It's because these men knew what was up back then, and they had the tenacity to pick up, leave, and walk away. This thing that's happening in Western society has been happening for a long time. It's been happening for a long time. Nikola Tesla talked about this from his era, going back to the 1800s. This was going on. Women were getting like this going back to the 1800s. And you can see this with the suffragettes, how they were acting up. This is not normal behavior. They were just waiting for the time to come where women could basically unleash their behavior on society and show men who they really are in Western society. It's been a cultural rot for hundreds of years now. We've been going in this direction for hundreds of years. I'll tell you all right now, people want to go back to the glorious days, 50, 60 years ago and think that things were that so wonderful back then. Let me make it very clear. Women were still acting up back then. They were still acting up back then. They just couldn't act out the way they wanted to act out. But they were still acting up back then. They were acting up in the 1920s. They were acting up even in the 1800s. This has been going on for a long time in Western society, in the United States and Westernized countries. It was only until the welfare state became a thing, and women could basically now com- dissolve themselves, separate themselves from consequences, that now that they can run wild in society, and there are literally zero there's literally zero consequences for the bad decisions that they make. But it's going to catch up to them now because men are walking away. And like I said, a country without its men is not a country, it's a wasteland. And these women all around the world are more than happy to accommodate these men. They are more than happy to take these men. I told y'all it's going to be a global competition. You're going to have women in Nigeria, women in Slovenia, women in Ethiopia, women in, I mean, the Philippines is a given, all right? But we're talking about countries like Laos. Like, who ever heard of Laos? Countries like Laos, women fighting for men in Laos. It's gonna be, and they're gonna be literally walking up to dudes just like, how you doing, blah blah blah, my name is, and it's gonna become a norm like that. Right now the simps are running, and that's what's going to trigger a lot of backlash, because women, they are so afraid of losing their simps, of losing their beta male orbiters, these friend zone men. And once these friend zone men realize that they can just walk away, go overseas, be treated like a king, and be told that you're the one with the value, oh my goodness, it changes everything. Simps are always going to be simps. But the fact of the matter is that as these men are leaving Western society, these women are getting older. Their SMV, their marketplace value is declining, and they can't work anymore. They can't work these long years anymore. Their career was just an adventure, and now they want to settle into easy, soft lives, and they can't even find a man that makes $50,000 a year that wants to be in a relationship with them. Like, this is where it's coming to, guys. You're going to see it. I know guys who make $50,000 a year, but have over $100,000 in savings and assets, savings and investments. And it's not a game. And these guys are making, and some of these dudes are working remotely. A lot of them are working remotely. They have all this disposable income. A woman will look at a dude who makes $50,000 a year and say, you're nothing. But this guy has hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes in savings, because he's been saving that money for ages and investing that money. And he has a comfortable remote job, and he's making his money. And there's a lot of these dudes who are living out of backpacks too. I constantly get these, comments from you guys talking about this, because you feel so proud of it. Like, there's a lot of these men who are making money remotely, and they are living literally out of a backpack. They have literally a couple of shirts, there was a dude who literally put, like, there's a couple of these dudes. One dude literally listed all the things in his backpack: laptop, this, or tablet, and basically a shirt, like he has like this many shirts, this many pairs of 2 jeans, stuff like this. And that was it. And like, he can be out in 30 minutes, and he's done it many times. And women don't understand just how little a man needs to survive. As men, we don't need all the nonsense that women go around carrying. We don't want all of that stuff in our lives. We don't like clothing, all this expensive clothing and all this other nonsense. That doesn't do anything for us, okay? The clothing doesn't make the man makes the clothing. Okay, so if you're a man who takes care of yourself, you stay in shape, you stay fit. It doesn't matter if your clothes cost $100 or you pick them up from the thrift store. By the way, you can buy some really nice stuff at the thrift store. You will look good in whatever you wear. You will look good. You will look fashionable, and women will want to come and check you out and speak to you. It's not about the clothes. It's about the man wearing the clothes and how you present yourself. And it's so hard for a lot of women to comprehend in Western society that they messed up, and they will never ever admit to it. They will blame God and Jesus Christ for their situation before they ever take any accountability for what they have done and the situation they've created for themselves. I will tell you 100%, I'll tell you with 100% certainty right now, they will stay on their hill until the end of their days. They will stay on that hill because their ego is so great, it's so massive, they can never ever let go of their ego. They will, guys, it's such a frightening thing. That's how modern women are. They don't care. They don't care if it will cost them everything. Because, all right, they will defend their ego until the end of their days. They will be homeless, living in a storm drain, defending their ego. And that is frightening. This is one of the things that make it hard for me to want to have a relationship, because the more I understand women and watching women who literally are not operating in their own best interest, like they are, modern women in Western society are not operating in their own best interest anymore. Things that they are doing are things that are going to end up resulting in them having terrible lives. And of course, they're going to blame men for it. And it's amazing how they cannot stop, they cannot control themselves. And it's like you just have to just walk away and leave it at that. But when you see just how careless modern women are with their lives through the actions, to the things that they're doing, you say, why? I don't want to be with someone like this. Like, if this is what a woman is at her core. Now, of course, in other countries, women, they're not bailed out of every bad decision that they make, and there are cultural differences. And as a result of that, that's one of the reasons why they are not like, Western women in Western society. Don't get me wrong. No matter where you go, a woman is a woman. These men are here worshiping women in the Philippines. A woman is a woman, but there are cultural differences that result in differences in her behavior and the way that she thinks. Anyway, guys, I want to know your thoughts regarding this. Foreign women warn that they're taking all black men. We literally saw what happened with Soraya just now, and it's not just her; it's a lot of these other women around the world, and you're going to see that happening now. I've said this already, that foreign women over the next 10 years will become the most desired women in the entire world. They will take that spot from Western women. Western women will become the most undesired women in the world. If a Western woman wants a man, they're going to have to travel. They're literally going to have to travel, and they're going to have to compromise. And most women will not do that. They will not travel. They will not compromise for a man. Not Western women. I mean, like, for an NBA player, but those men, no. It's going to be rough. It's going to be really, really hard for them. And like I said, they're going to stay on that hill. They're going to stay on that hill. Even in a wasteland, they're still going to be there saying that they are princesses, they are goddesses, and Jesus has that right, that millionaire for them. Guys, even in a world that has fallen into the dark era, like we could literally be in the dark era of humanity, and women will still be out there saying that, God has that high value man coming for them. Like, people cannot eat, people cannot survive, people cannot live, and they will still be out there saying that Jesus has that special man for them. Like we can literally fall back into the dark ages, and they will still swear that they deserve a high value man, as people are living in caves and eating squirrel meat. It's this that makes it very, very hard for me to want to be in a relationship, because, and I know I've lost increasingly. I get it. It's not all women, but my gosh, Western women, they've like just the more I understand them, the more I just don't want to be in a relationship at all. But as you guys can see, these foreign women are not messing around. They're coming to collect. They're going to take everything that these women in Western society have. They're going to take it all. They're going to clean the meat off the bone, then grind the bone. They're clean the meat off the bone, suck the marrow, and then grind the bone. They're taking it all. They're not going to leave anything behind. Soraya's not being honest here. She's not being honest here. She's not being honest. She's just being polite. And that's while firing warning shots, okay? Because they're going to take it all. They're not going to leave anything behind. They're going to put these women out. They're going to put these Western women out. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to NWA Men Walking Away. And cheers.